Hey, hey, yay, 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 yay. It's your boy Neptune the Goon. And I'm back at y'all with another Say Less Moments. Thank you for all my subscribers. Thank you for all my comments. Thank you for everybody that's supporting me. New LA podcaster. Back on the climb. New subscriptions every day. I'm climbing up the ladder. 5 weeks up, I'm almost at 400. Make sure y'all always like, comment, subscribe, and share. And turn on that notification bell so you always be tapped in. When you tap in me, I'm going to tap in with you. Now, today, we speak on Parkay. Parkay from Chicago. So what I'm hearing is he was a legend. One of those names out there. Kind of like, sort of like Jam before he tried to get out his Jam. We just spoke on Jam. He had his little issues in the feds, and supposedly, allegedly, he got stabbed up. But that's not the case today. That's not what we're speaking on. So we have Parkay, who was in Chicago, to be exact, 66, and I believe Fingerman. And he wasn't walking. He wasn't hanging outside or nothing like that. From what it seems to be, from what police and detective, the newscasts out there say that he was sitting in his car and he was approached by a man, and some say it was other men parked already, like waiting on him. You know what I mean? Sitting on him in the bushes, and walked up to the car to make sure it was that guy. And I believe they had that eye to eye contact before he let off a couple shots and unalived him on 66 and Fingerman. So I'm gonna let y'all get into the news, and we just gonna do a Say Less Moments reaction, and that's a fact.
Chicago rapper Parkay. Parkay like a legend in Chicago. He was part of that Goon Squad, Bump J. He was actually shot and killed in what the police believe was a targeted hit on his life. Because the gunman walked right up on the car that he was in, didn't really have no conversation with him, and just started killing him while he was sitting in his car. He was in Inglewood, one of the most dangerous communities in Chicago. He was just sitting in his car on 66 and Fingerman, just sitting in his car when a person walked up on him and started shooting in his car. Hit the like button. Roll on this video 1,000 likes. I think a lot of people can learn from this. Parkay is one of the legends in drill rap. In my opinion, he was here before drill rap. A lot of people don't understand. Before drill rap, it was Bump J and the Goon Squad. They was the guys that was rapping that real street life and shit like that. They was the guys that was rapping the songs telling you how the hood went and things like that. Everybody know about Goon Squad. Parkay is one of their most prominent members and shit like that. According to reports, he was sitting in a car Monday. He was just sitting in the car. And I guess he didn't realize, but somebody was watching him sitting in the car, and the gunman walked up on the car, looked him right in the window and got the shooting in the car. Blah, 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 blah. Parkay died. They rushed him to the hospital, but he didn't survive in the hospital. Police don't know what happened. One thing I can say is this week has been a little good outside. It's still been cold, but the sun been shining. So remember, when that sun come out, them guns come out. It's very dangerous out here. A lot of people credit Parkay with helping the drill culture because before drill, it was this. These guys was the hottest thing popping in the street. Remember, Bump J, the leader of Goon Squad, he ended up catching a robbery case. They say he turned into some TV action hero and robbed the bank for hundreds and thousands of dollars. He was actually snitched on. He got locked up. That was kind of the end of that Goon Squad thing that Parkay was a part of.
As far as this beef with me and Twister, I don't know if it was ever really like a real beef. And one of my guys, there was a lot of stuff going on at the time, but one of my guys had robbed him, and he had ended up going to court, like, yeah, that's him and all that shit, and he was saying he had to do it for insurance purposes, all that there, and they just, you don't do that in the street, especially when you rapping about bodies gonna pile and drop and all that dumb ass shit, and then you got that man here pointing your finger at
everybody. And the drill culture started establishing this up and coming out. Goon Squad is very known in Chicago for being like the drill culture before the drill culture. Bump J was Chief Keef before Chief Keef. Bump J was the guy everybody wanted to be. Kanye West was co-signing. remember, Parkay was a part of that. You know, there was a lot of artists here before the drill rap. For some reason, people tend to not show them respect. But I wanted to bring to your attention legendary Chicago rapper Parkay. He was shot and killed in Chicago yesterday. It was a lot of people shot and killed this last week, man. There have been several people murdered, but you know, legend, Chicago rapper Parkay. This is crazy because, you know, nobody really seen this happening. He kind of older rapper. He not really like one of the youngest rappers, but he is in the street shit, and people know him as to be an enforcer, a dude who has a lot of money in the real streets, who was here before like drill rap really came out. A lot of people credit him and Bump J, you know, with helping build the drill rap because the drill rappers looked up to him.
So as you heard, rest in peace, Parkay, Chicago legend. They say he's from Goon Squad, and he was one of those dudes that was really rapping what he was like, way before drill was even thought of as drill. So I mean, I know all I hear about is Chicago this, Chicago that. And like I said, I'm a West Coast YouTuber, so I'm getting into all the names and the new people and things like that. But it seemed like, you know what I mean, somebody was waiting on that guy. You know what I mean? There's nothing else to be said. It's a say less moment. You know what I mean? And they did it to where the police couldn't get up with him. You know what I mean? But you know how the streets talk, and not too long from now, we're gonna hear about somebody claiming the body and going on Instagram and the trolling and the back and forth. You know what I mean? Especially with some YNs. You know what I mean? Because they acting like they ain't got nothing to lose out there. It seemed like a lot of them old block, like them project type setting areas, man, they ain't got nothing for them young black men out there. They ain't got nothing set up in place for them. No school, no jobs. It just seemed like everybody just hanging out, getting these straps from I guess China with the buttons on them. You know what I mean? Sitting in the house, trolling each other, going live, seeing where everybody at, trying to get a low. You know what I mean? Playing Grand Theft Auto 5, busting on everything, then coming outside trying to play the same game in real life. I don't know what's going on with this new drill culture, and I don't know what's going on with the new YNs, but they moving kind of, man. They knee deep in the mud, man, and they kicking off wars that you know what I mean. The other members from higher ups, you know, the big brothers and all that, because they don't like to call them big homies, but the older guys, you know what I mean. They got to tell them something. But I guess in Chicago, everybody getting locked up, just like California, where we at. So I like to bring to your attention once again, we got Parkay from Goon Squad. Rest in peace on 66 and Fingerman. Shout out, condolences to the family. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna always give you the hot topics. Say Less Moments TV, Instagram BEE.HUSTLE_. You DM me, I'm gonna hit you back because I'm like that for sure that.